set for the board meeting and public hearing of the Nevada Taxicab Authority. Present today are members Graff and Soderberg, by video conference Chairman Reeser, and by teleconference Member Trujillo. So we do have a quorum. I would like to ask Member Graff to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting has been noticed according to the open meeting law. Madam Secretary, we have all notices have been made?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, before we start, I understand the air conditioner is not working, so if anybody would like to move to summer rules in January, feel free. I've already started that process. First item of business is public comment. Any members of the public who would like to address the board may do so now.
Good morning.
Your name for the record?
Mario Locascio, Deluxe Taxi General Manager. First, I want to start on positive. I want to thank TA and the officers for getting the guy off the street that decides to grab a cab driver and make him lose his eye. So thank you to TA. Second item is going to be more negative. I've been having a lot of problems at Allegiant Stadium with drivers complaining how they treat them. I don't deal with hearsay where a lady driver says, I dropped off a lady with a walker at the handicap. They let her unload her, and then they gave me a ticket. But this here was not hearsay. I dealt with this with the owner of the company. Metro calls us and says, this guy dropped an unlegal zone. I'm going to take his permit and I'm going to tow the car. I go, well, you can't do either one. You could give him a ticket for standard of conduct, but that's it. I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. We'll come over there, grab the car, and I'll give him the rest of the day off. He says, sure. The owner of the company was an ex-police officer. So I know which way we're talking about police officers here. We're just talking about Allegiant Stadium that pretty much doesn't want cab drivers, in my opinion. So we go get the car. You couldn't stop saying how the driver was professional. Yes, sir, no, sir, yes, sir, no, sir. Okay, done. We leave. 10 days go by, and the driver says, hey, can you help me with this ticket? I have a copy if you like, if you folks like to read it. Now remember, we were all there. It was not hearsay.
Thank you.
Now, knowing the driver, yes sir, no sir, yes sir, no sir, never complains, never argues. The officer had the right to give this ticket, but doesn't have the rights to what he wrote on there. There was no such lady that fell on the pavement. I'm the tallest, smallest guy in the yard. These guys have a lot more cabs than I do. They know that somebody even coughs in the wrong manner, they want money from us. This never happened. Again, I'm not talking about the officer, because then for 2 other Sundays they played. I went there and I saw it firsthand. They're treating the drivers in an improper, I don't want to say the word, but it's not right. It's not, and I want to know why.
Metro, who is assigned to the area, or is it the stadium itself?
In my opinion, they're giving a directive to just hammer these drivers. They're not doing it on their own. And the next following weeks that I went there, my guys were in touch. It's everybody else's, but I don't know if they're hearing the same thing I'm hearing, but there needs to be a discussion. And I hate to say it right before the party's coming over, but you know, next month is going to be a special event, but I don't think they want us on there. And I drove for 17 years, and these guys talk on the stand, talk at the airport. Eventually, they're going to boycott, and then they'll probably want to talk to us. Mm-hmm. But why don't we have this discussion before all this happens?
I understand.
And thank you.
And you can relay these comments, please, to the Deputy Administrator when he returns.
I will.
Thank you. Okay, is there anybody else present in the room who'd like to address the board on public comment? Is there anybody on video who'd like to address the board on the public comment section? Hearing none? Oh, do we have somebody? I'm sorry.
No.
Okay. The next item for possible action is the approval of the December 20th, 2023 board minutes. Oh, excuse me, let's, for the record, reflect that Member Decker has joined us. So we are 5 of 5. Minutes have been provided. Does any member have an issue or an amendment to the minutes before we move forward?
I would
Hearing
move
none,
approval. I'd move approval, Vice Chairman.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
On the vote, all for approving the minutes according to the motion, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. The minutes are approved. Next item of business is industry discussion. Do we have any members of the industry present in the room who'd like to address the board? Do we have any members of the industry on the teleconference who'd like to address the board?
No.
Okay. The next item of business is staff report. The sign says Deputy Administrator Park, but you are not, so please state your name for the record.
Yes, I'm clearly not the interim administrator. My name is Sergeant AJ Scott, currently supervising the day shift for the agency. Start off with, like to introduce a new attorney, Lona Webb. We hired her recently, so she'll be taking part in helping us out with our hearings and stuff, as well as preparing orders. Additionally, we have hired an MA2 position that was vacated. That was an internal hire. Corazon Tontitas was hired in this position. We made an offer to an open dispatcher position and also another AA2 position for front office. So we are in the process of filling those vacant positions. We still need to fill another AA2 position for the front office, as well as a vehicle inspector position as well. So right now we're making progress on those hires. In addition, we have radios ordered. We are having an issue with the recorder. Part of it has to do with the manufacturer talking with the actual sales people that we're dealing with. So we're kind of pulling back and forth with them, but still progressing with the new radio updates. We have ordered vehicles through fleet services, much to the chagrin of some, but it apparently will be an easier process for us to deal with our aging vehicle fleet that we have. We'll have 7 vehicles that will be here relatively soon, and we have another 7 that are budgeted for 2025. Right now, we are working with the Super Bowl host committee, and taxi stand is currently set to be on Quail Avenue between Wind Road and South Valley View Road. We're going to have more information with more meetings coming out. So as much information as we get, we'll push it out to the industry and the board as well. Keep you guys apprised of what's going on. We are going to be doing some overtime for Super Bowls. We'll have various shifts working throughout the week. There are multiple Super Bowl events that are occurring throughout the valley, special Super Bowl parties. And I know the commissioner, he has a special party, and we're having to do some traffic enforcement and then also some UPT work for the Super Bowl. Also, as Mario pointed out, we did have a violent crime committed against the taxicab driver. That driver did lose an eye. We were able to work with the Fusion Center and located the vehicle, the partial plate number, apprehended the subject, and he's facing felony charges right now. So currently in jail facing those charges. Next, we have stats. Or if there's any questions about what I said so far.
I do, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
You meant in your vacancies, you didn't mention any officers. Are you full with officers?
Currently full with officers.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And apparently looking pretty good right now with 4 additional positions coming maybe at the end of spring.
Subject to IFC or?
No, it didn't have to go to IFC.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we might be getting 4 more positions at the end of the spring.
Okay. Do you know if there's a posting out yet for the administrative position?
I have not seen one. So.
Okay. You mentioned 7 vehicles in 24, 7 vehicles in 25. Do you know what kind of vehicles you're getting?
A variety, Nissan Rogues, Chevy Traverse, and Dodge Durangos.
Okay. So are those going to be outfitted for police package?
They may not necessarily have a police package, but they will have lights, sirens.
Okay. Nissan Rogue, is that because that's all you could get?
Yes, it is.
All right. Yeah. One of the things you want to maybe watch out for is acquiring vehicles that won't be mistaken by anybody for a police car, and then trying to use them to pull people over.
Agreed.
Yeah. The other question, let's see, you mentioned radios. I don't know if you know this, but my agency is donating 12 Taser 26s to your agency, because I know you don't have them and they're very difficult to get, and you'll probably take you a couple of years because you have to go through the budget process. So we've upgraded to the Taser 10, so we're donating our existing Taser 26s to you. So you'll have 12 of those by the end of February.
Perfect. We also have a master taser instructor in-house, so we'll be able to work with your agency as well as far as developing policies too.
Perfect.
Any other questions of staff in the first part of the presentation?
Point of information, Vice Chair, to Member Decker's question. I have spoken with Director Sanchez and he is working on the administrator posting.
Thank you.
Okay. Next section.
All right, let's get into some stats. So first page stats, we have total monthly trips between December 23 to 22. Overall trips are down 0.11%, or 0.11%. Revenue is up, however, approximately 11%. That's employee revenue per trip. Lease revenue per trip is also up from December 23 to 22. The next section of stats has combined trip comparison from 23 to 22. Overall, trips are down, percent increase of 0.72%, so about 98,000 rides. Year-to-date comparison for December 23 versus 22, you can see there, employee trips down, revenue down on the month for 23 to 22. No change in medallions. Lease trips appear to be significantly higher, as well as the lease revenue and average revenue per trip. No change in the issued number of medallions, still at 3,530. Lease decals still sitting at 1,433. The number of disabled and elderly rides requested, just a small drop off from November to December. Not much of a change there. It's a difference of 7 rides for the elderly rides there, and a couple hundred with the disabled rides from December to November. Next, credit card transactions from November to December, a 13.3% drop in credit card transactions are noted. And as far as investigations, a total number of 32 citations were written, 38 total violations, including impounds of 6. 48 violations were resolved at court. 42 were waived before hearing, so they paid at the office before they had a court hearing. 6 that went to hearing, all 6 were found guilty. So number of dispatch events, there was very few that we had related to the F1 event that came in for the month of December. There was only 1 complaint that came in related to F1. The largest complaint usually tends to be accidents or lost property. So that's one thing we just ask that the taxi cab drivers verify that the vehicles are cleared before they move off the stand or drop off their passenger. Again, with our citation violation reports, our biggest issue that we seem to have is rotation of taxi stand. And the primary area where that occurs is over at the airport, where somebody drops off at the terminal and then picks up another passenger there at the terminal. There are some instances where we are there in person and we happen to see somebody that is handicapped or elderly that needs a ride. We will allow that to happen as opposed to forcing them to walk through the terminal to go to the taxi stand for pickup. Monthly vehicle report, we can see how many OSNs or out of service notifications, 24 hours and accidents were involved. Our inspectors are doing a great job trying to catch it back up. I know we're down 1 position, so they're getting through doing all their annual taskings. Right now, total cabs in service in December, 2,841. And that is all I have for statistics for the agency. If there are any questions.
there any questions from the board regarding the statistics?
I have a couple. On agency stats investigations, total number of hearings held was 6, and then total vehicle release is 6. Does that mean those 6 were UPTs?
Those 6 were UPTs.
And then on, let's see, second page of the dispatch events, got targeted enforcement, 40 violations. Are those UPTs also, or does that include a category of multiple things?
No, that's a category of multiple things. We will go and we'll call out to our dispatch center and let them know that we are doing a target enforcement for a certain thing. Most of the time, it's 706 enforcement through enterprise or NAC or the taxi cabs.
Okay,
They can be for UPTs, but generally we'll let them know it'll be a different call.
gotcha. Okay, so are those 40, so theoretically, those 40 could be counted in multiple categories, right? If it's targeted, but let's say it's also obey all laws, it could be.
Right, so the targeted is a officer calls out to have them doing target enforcement, and then they may have a subcategory under that where they wrote a citation, where there could be, rotation or, meter on, not for hire.
Okay. So are those, if they're duplicated, are they removed from the total, counted once, or?
I couldn't tell you, sir.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
Are there any other questions, the sergeant? I do have one question. I am observing that the decrease in December trips year over year is rather small as compared to what we've been seeing. When we inquired a few months back about the drop off in number of trips, yet the increase in revenue, members of the industry had indicated that it was largely due to traffic disruptions associated with the Formula One event. And this is as close as I get to the strip. So I'm asking, do we still have traffic disruptions going on?
Yes, there are still traffic disruptions that are going on. In addition, the Flamingo Road, there is a temporary bridge that's right there that should be taken down before Super Bowl. And that's a should. That's what they're promising will be done. That will be an additional problem that we
Okay.
have.
And so that might be why we're still having a decrease in rides, but yet increase in revenue.
Correct.
Okay. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on the next couple months. That's all the questions I have. Does that conclude your report, Sergeant?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Okay, item 6, second public comment period. Are there any members of the public present in the opulent and spacious Tahoe room who would like to address the board? I see none. Are there anybody on the teleconferencing that would like to address the board?
No, nothing.
Thank you. And the next exciting item we have, pardon me? Is adjournment. And I entertain a motion from the board to adjourn this meeting unless there's a reason not to.
So moved.
So moved.
Do I hear a second? I hear
So moved.
two so moved, so I'll take Decker as the move and Trujillo as the second. And all in favor of adjournment, say aye.
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 Those opposed? Thank you, we are adjourned. 2 times in my life I get to do this.
Thank you all.
Yeah.
I was actually surprised to tell to see it. I never really noticed that Dan had one. I sit right next to him. I never,
You never used this.
what's that? Oh, I get to do that again.
Thanks, Don.